number 2, I have Fairy Ring. So this is a family-friendly kind of tableau building, engine building style game, with some closed drafting involved as you are choosing one of these cards from your hand. All of these cards are different mushrooms, and the mushrooms score points in different ways. So after you've all simultaneously selected your mushroom, you're going to put it on your display, either putting the mushroom to the furthest to the left or furthest to the right of all the mushrooms you've already played, or you can even increase the height of the mushrooms as long as they are of the same type. Normally, the more you expand a mushroom or increase the height of a mushroom, the yield of points that you can potentially get increases. So not only is the mushroom important because, again, the way it scores, but it'll also determine how many spaces in a kind of clockwise order your fairy will move. And basically, your fairy is going to move across all the mushrooms that not only belong to you, but also belong to other players. And if the fairy lands on one of your mushrooms, you'll simply score what the mushroom does. But if it lands on somebody else's mushroom, they will score the points of that mushroom. But if you have a matching mushroom type, then you'll also score those points. You're racing to collect this mana, which is essentially your sub points. And if you get to 20 mana, you'll get a point, an actual point. And then, of course, you only play 2 rounds of that, and whoever's got the most points at the end will win. I actually do like the way that the mushrooms score, because although they're all quite simple set collection methods, they're actually fairly interesting. So some of them, for example, will say, or just score you face value points. Some of them will score you points based on these little kind of fireflies that you'll collect amongst all your cards. Some of them won't even need to land on the mushrooms. You'll just get kind of passive points as people pass those particular mushrooms. Some of them will score points based on how tall they can get. You know, the higher the better, and so on. So I do quite like the different methods you can take here. You know, do you want to make a super mushroom, and hopefully you can force yourself to land on somebody else's and get loads of points each time you do that? Or do you want to try and spread yourself thin and create quite a wide catchment area so that when fairies start to come in your region, you might get hit, once or twice, rather than people bypassing you straight away, and of course you can get points that way. So yeah, all in all, very charming, very fast, simple, but kind of clever at the same time, and some unique mechanisms in terms of being forced to interact with the other players. It could be a little bit frustrating at times, as the movement is fairly rigid, and if you're moving 6 spaces and that 6th spot is something that you don't really want to land on, then it's kind of tough, but you just have to make do with that. And the game is so inoffensive and so fast that the luck factor didn't really bother me at all. And I think it's a really nice gateway entry-level game that I think is going to be a slow burner. I think people will start to like this one and latch onto it.